were always sending me pictures of dicks, but not a normal amount of people. Like, I always thought, wow, I am so popular. Why do I have so many messages? And I thought it was because of that. But no, my gang stalking had started back then. I had been there were so many people pushing penises at me way beyond normal. And not only that, so there were times for a while I would only get guys with huge dicks to play with me. And they all just wanted me to top. I mean, to bottom, and they always gave me a lot of drugs, and it was always a good time. Keeping in mind that before I was a verse top, then I just became completely verse, and boy, I stayed at completely verse. But there were a couple of years where I was only bottoming. Now, I looked at the screen, and guess what was on the screen? Another gangbang of a little Latin man. The guy literally had his stick right in front of my eyes, and not only that, but they were always pushing as many drugs as they could on me. Another one of the hookups um, asked me if he could put meth on his dick, and I said no. And when he kept going, I felt the meth right up my butt. He completely ignored what I told him, and he just kept going. I kicked him out of the room. And I feel that it was this was not the first time something like this has happened. I am sure that something like this has happened to me, and I didn't even know. Now, guys were literally giving me drugs. So it all began to make sense the moment that they didn't see me looking for more dick or ass on my phone before I left. So in the past, as soon as I was like bored, I would just go back on the apps and look for someone else. Now, one of the guys literally said it didn't work. I swear to God. He literally in front of me said it didn't work. And then they just kept trying to give me more drugs. And I was like, I have to go. And then I told them, you know what they say about your worst enemy being your best teacher? And they kind of discussed it amongst them. And they said, well, I guess it could be a saying. And I was just like, well, that is true. And for teaching me well, I thank you. Bye. And then I just left. Now, as I was leaving, another person was coming in the apartment, and he was looking at me as if he had just seen a dead person. He was shocked that I was like this, normal. And now, whenever I got on any application and I put my face on the little profile, guess what happened? Again, I began getting a lots of dicks with no context, just dicks, boom, dicks, and then pictures of people smoking, like things like that, like a lot of it, like as if they were trying to influence me indirectly. Now, I did tell them about this YouTube channel, and I told them about indirect manipulation. And I got a reaction when I mentioned indirect manipulation. So, because of how they responded with when I told them, because of how they responded when I said indirect manipulation, that in itself told me that they knew exactly what they were doing. Not only that, but the fact that I wasn't running out of there looking for more dick. And this time they actually said out loud, it didn't work. Again, confirms the fact that it was a manipulation. Now, so I had never seen this before. But this has been going on for years. Since I was like 27. For like about 10 years, they have been working on my demise. Maybe less. But they have been going at it mercilessly, and I had no idea. I have been influenced to engage in these activities. And even though I take most of the responsibility, because it requires my participation, in order for it to happen, they are also responsible somewhat. But let me tell you, now that I see it, it's insane. Like, I go online and I immediately get, hey, what are you doing? And then I get just stupid questions like, how is your day going? Blah, blah. And it is really hard to discern now, or to be completely, to know where it's coming from. Now it's like, I do know where it's coming from, because once I see the person, I immediately know their intentions, because they have taught me to be really good at reading people. And I didn't have that skill before. And I don't know what happened that all of a sudden I just see all the indirect manipulation. I can see it from miles away. And it is mind-blowing, because even though I might know all these things about gang stalking, this is like beyond. Like, this happened years before even the actual gang stalking started. I had no idea. This stuff is like completely new to me. I mean, that makes me, it doesn't make me feel like, well, I have less responsibility for my own future because they influence me. No. But it is really like eye-opening. I'm actually kind of really excited about this. Mainly because if anyone of you is getting gang stalked, now you at least know about how I was indirectly manipulated and being made to act things that would really kind of justify the gang stalking. And so if you're getting gang stalked and let's say that you became a drunk or a drug addict, think about how you got there. Were people offering them to you constantly? Were you all of a sudden surrounded by drug users or by people who were encouraging this type of behavior? You might have been steered and you didn't even notice. Listen, I think I'm pretty smart and I feel like I can figure things out. But it took me all these years to understand the full extent of indirect manipulation. So a lot of times, so the rules that they had when I was around was one, to never give me satisfaction. That's why what they were always interrupt me when I was close to finishing. Also, to get me going but not really satisfy me, and to make me bottom as much as possible so that I would turn into like a full-on freaking uh whole of oblivion hungry bottom. So in I guess it worked, but I mean I kind of wanted to go in that route for a little bit. Like I always had that in me, but it was perpetuated. And I was able to actually see them react when it didn't work any longer. And they were not happy about it. They were even sending me text messages with the hookup websites, like that one guy did. Um, I had to take my picture of my hookup profile because I was getting these messages that were only meant to influence me to behave in a way that they wanted me to behave, not in the way that I wanted to behave. For a while, it was like, why is it that whenever I get on these websites, like all of a sudden everything is just like starts going downhill? And it is because that's me giving them access to me. Because there is when they can start influencing me. And I had no freaking idea. I had no clue. Whew. So I have a lot more to say about this, but this is all I got for right now. Now, if you're getting gang stalked, well, I just learned that there is a whole nother arena to gang stalking. Oh, so the reason that I also know that the goal of the Gangstalkers was to pretty much make me as gross and nasty as possible and keep me that way was because now that I am actually starting to get the body that I had before, my toenails are normal now. My abs are coming back. My skin is beginning to glow again. One of the guys that I hooked up with was literally expressing anger. So there's a person that I had planned to hook up with like a day before, and he seemed perfectly fine via text. But when I get there, he starts saying things under his breath that I'm supposed to be like, "What do you say?" And then he would just say, "Oh, nothing." But I've seen all of those tricks before, so I just didn't say anything. I will tell you more details about that, but the whole point of me bringing that up is that he looked, his body said and his face said that he was angry because I was beginning to look my best again. And not only that, but it wasn't only him. It was, for some reason, every single person that I hooked up with that I had never seen before expressed the surprise when they saw me not wearing socks. So everyone knew about my toe problem. And they were equally shocked when they saw me just take off my shirt, bam, the body, you know. And none of them were happy. So understand my conundrum. Whenever I'll go out and try to have sex with someone, this person has already heard things of me and are in on the game that is not giving me satisfaction. So I am supposed to have no exit, you know, but I have just been masturbating a lot. So I can deal with that, but it is still something just not just annoying. Like before, I used to kind of care, but now it is just something that is insane to me how actually spread out gang stalking is here in San Diego. Like literally every single person that I have met has shown some type of ulterior motive to hang out with me. It's either to get me high or to, that's about it, to get me high and to start my demise. So my current position is kind of tough, which is why all my focus is on this channel now and on work. But at least now I have this that I see now that I didn't have before. And it's still shocking to me that it has been this long and I'm just now beginning to understand. Even though I was able to freaking figure out that there's no such thing as direct energy weapons, I was completely oblivious to the more immediate manipulation that was being put on me. So yeah, that's all I have to say for today. Bye.